Hello and welcome back to Pass the Turn. This is another Magic the Gathering EDH episode, and today is going to be a deck list or a commander deck tech video on a new commander that I've built. There's still a couple of pieces that are going to be added as and when, but the majority of the deck is completed, and that is for Thrun, the Last Troll, which you can see on the thing over there. Thrun, the Last Troll is a fantastic Voltron-esque sort of commander that has built-in protection package, so it's absolutely awesome because you know that when he hits the field he's going to be extremely hard to deal with, because not only are you going to be pumping him up and whacking some awesome equipment onto him, but he has built-in protection against spells and he can regenerate himself as well. So Thrun the Last Troll is a 4-drop legendary troll shaman. He costs 2 forests and 2 others, and he's a 4/4. So a nice little 4/4 stat block for your 4 mana, but he can't be countered. He cannot be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and he can regenerate himself for 1 green and 1 other. So he can't be murdered. He can't be single targeted removed. He can only be killed by a board wipe or by combat damage. But even if he gets killed by those means, as long as it doesn't have the claws, it cannot be regenerated. Thrun can regenerate himself to keep himself available for future turns, and that's what I love about Thrun. I run, Garrick decks, Prosh decks, Villis decks, all these massive creatures that can be easily removed unless you have the stuff like Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots, Mask of Avacyn, all that sort of stuff. You have to jump through hoops in order to get your commander protected against that single target removal. But with Thrun, it's all on his card from the get-go, which is absolutely fantastic and a great template for a Voltron style commander. So if you're looking for any Magic the Gathering cards, board games, tabletop content, geeky stuff that meets your needs and requirements, make sure you go and check out our affiliate link with Magic Madhouse in the description box below. Any purchase you make will help support us directly, and it's an awesome company. They always have some awesome products in stock, so go and check it out if you're looking to build decks or just fill your shelves with geeky stuff. Please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and keep up to date with all of our stuff by hitting that little bell notification icon. And we do Magic the Gathering, board games, all sorts of stuff here on Pass the Turn, and yeah, you wouldn't want to miss it. So let's start with the mana base of the deck. So the mana base package in mono decks are always quite straightforward. So I run 33 forests in this particular deck and 3 other non-basic lands. So first of all, I run Havenwood Battleground, which is a great early draw because it comes into play tapped, adds 1 forest to your mana pool, but you can sacrifice it to add 2 forests to your mana pool. So that's always good for a little bit of early ramp from a land. We've got Rogue's Passage, which is fantastic for sneaking in huge commander damage. Thrun is always going to be a massive beat stick in this game, in this deck, so having an unblockable source is fantastic. Rogue's Passage. And Mystifying Maze is a fantastic cheap budget version of Maze of Ith, which allows you to remove an attacking creature when it's attacking you, and it can also be used as a political tool because it says exile target attacking creature and opponent control, so you can actually remove something else from combat that's not attacking you, so you can use it as a political tool. But again, it's mainly used because I only have normally 1 creature on board, and having a deterrent for that is needed. So the main focus of a Thrun deck, or at least in my particular deck list, is building his power and toughness with huge equipments, making him extremely difficult to deal with, putting stuff on him that should allow him to continue his longevity in the game, and just swinging in for huge commander damage that people cannot let go through. So we'll start with the equipment of the deck. This will give him various buffs and various abilities that will help him swing through for lethal commander damage. We'll get into other utility equipments as and when the category comes up, but this is the equipment list which will provide buffs and huge benefits for attacking. So first of all, we have Strata Scythe, which is a 3-drop artifact equipment with imprint. So when it comes into the battlefield, search library for a land, obviously it's going to be a forest, and exile it and shuffle your library. So the equipped creature, once it's equipped cost of 3, will get +1/+1 for each land on the battlefield with the same name as the exiled card. So it's going to get +1/+1 for each forest on the battlefield, we have 33 forests in this deck, so he's going to be getting a huge buff from not only our deck, but potentially other forests around the battlefield as well. So again, Straticide is a massive card, and it always gives him a huge buff. That's Straticide. The next one is Vorak Battlehorns, a 2-drop equipment, and the equipped creature has Trample. So again, Trample is a key word in this deck, because any excess damage is going to go through to the player or the planeswalker. So again, when he's swinging in for huge damage, it's not going to be doing much unless it can trample that excess damage through, and Vorak Battlehorns will do that. But it also says that the equipped creature cannot be blocked by more than one creature. So again, they have to designate their biggest, toughest creature to block it, because all that excess damage is going to have to be going through. So Vorak Battlehorns is awesome because it also has an equip cost of 1. So again, very, very good card. Next card is Loxodon Warhammer. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has Trample. So again, Trample is awesome. Gives him a little bit of buff on his power as well. But it also has, whenever this creature deals damage, you gain that much life. So again, a huge gainer of life in this deck is from Loxodon Warhammer, because it will simply give you some ludicrous life gain from the amount of buffs that Thrun is going to be getting. So Loxodon Warhammer is always good to see in your starting hand. Next card is Kite Sail. So this is a artifact equipment from M13, the printing I've got. Costs 2 to bring in, and equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. And so again, giving Thrun a flying keyword is awesome, because it gives him evasion. It can also mean he can block those flying threats. Mono green is not great for dealing with flyers, so I need to have something in here which gives him reach or flying. So obviously we'll get into those other cards later, but Kite Sail, a nice little 2-drop. Speaking of flying, we have Bladed Pinions. This is another 2-drop, and it gives the equipped creature flying and first strike for an equip cost of 2. So again, more protection for Thrun, because it gives him the ability to hit that enemy first that's attacking or blocking, and gives him flying as well. So again, a lot of evasion, both in flying and first strike, which is key. Next card is Argentum Armor. This is an absolute pummeling card. Costs 6 to bring in, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +6/+6. So again, it's going to be giving him a huge buff, making him a 10/10 if nothing else is equipped onto him. And whenever the equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent. So again, permanent removal on an equipment with a buff is absolutely fantastic, and having the Argentum Armor on the last troll is absolutely phenomenal. That's Argentum Armor. Next card is Moon Silver Spear. This is a 4-cost equipment. Equipped creature has first strike, and whenever the equipped creature attacks, put a 4/4 White Angel token with flying onto the battlefield. So again, an awesome card for giving Thrun first strike, which is a form of evasion, because it prevents him from getting hit first. And it's a token generator, so again, it gives Thrun more allies on the battlefield to assist him with swinging through huge equipments. So Moon Silver Spear is an awesome include. Next card, Hero's Blade. This is a 2-drop artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+2. So again, it's awesome, because whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can attach the Hero's Blade to it without paying its equip cost. So it's a great 2-drop, because if Thrun comes out while the Hero's Blade's out, the Hero's Blade would automatically equip itself to Thrun, making Thrun a 7/6 straight away on turn 4, which is fantastic. So Hero's Blade, definite include when you're running a legendary creature. Now we have the Caldra set. So we have the sword, shield, and helm of Caldra. I haven't really found a use for these cards since I acquired them, but in this deck, they are absolutely absurd. So let's start with the sword first of all. The sword costs 4 mana to bring out, legendary artifact equipment. Creature gets +5/+5, so Thrun would become a 9/9 if he only wielded the sword. And whenever the equipped creature deals damage to a creature, remove that creature from the game. So basically, he will exile any creature that is blocking him. So he just voids them from existence, basically, when he hits them with a sword. So again, a fantastic card, especially if you've got other stuff that makes people block you. You can void creatures from the game, and it just gets around indestructible and all that sort of stuff. A fantastic card, Sword of Caldra. Then it comes along with the Shield of Caldra. This is a 4-drop equipment, legendary artifact. Equipment named Sword, Shield, and Helm are indestructible. So as long as you have the shield out, the sword and the helmet will all be indestructible artifacts that people can't destroy. And of course the shield gives the equipped creature indestructible as well. So this shield will protect all of the other artifacts in the cycle, as well as the creature that's wielding them, which is fantastic. And then we have the Helmet of Cauldron as well, which is a 3-drop equipment, and the equipped creature has First Strike, Trample, and Haste, so a lot of keywords that will give Thrun some immediate benefits. And if you control the Helm, Shield, and Sword all at the same time, you can pay 1 and create a 4/4 colourless avatar legend called Caldra and equip all of those equipments to it. So what you could do is you could, once you have them all out, you could create a artifact legendary avatar creature that wields all of the equipment and runs into attack. Probably not good. I've never used that ability. I've never had all the equipments out at the same time. It's like an Exodia sort of Yu-Gi-Oh card sort of style play, but I've never actually done that before. I'm not sure if I ever will. I just like the Caldra set because it gives each Caldra item will give you some awesome abilities for Thrun. So again, just a place where I thought these cards would fit in the deck. So that's the Caldra set. Now we move on to more equipment. So we have Colossus Hammer. So it's a 1-drop equipment, which gives the equipped creature +10/+10, and they lose flying. So the hammer is so heavy that the equipped creature cannot fly with it. But it gives it +10/+10 with an equipped cost of 8. I've never actually used it, so it could be a card that actually falls by the wayside eventually, but it's just too good to put in there. It's too much of a beefy card not to miss in a Voltron strategy. So again, Colossus Hammer, nice little include, although I've never used it. Next card is Ring of Colonia. This is a 2-drop artifact equipment, which gives the equipped creature Trample. So again, a nice little trample enabler. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if the equipped creature is green, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. So that's going to keep building up Thrun's power the longer he holds the ring, the more powerful he's going to get. Combined with the trample element, it's a win-win situation for monocolours. Next card is Chariot of Victory. The equipped creature has First Strike, Trample, and Haste. Simple as that. 3-drop artifact with an equipped cost of 1. So again, a fantastic card for giving him First Strike, Trample, and Haste. Keywords that he's going to need if he's swinging in for huge damage. Next card is absolutely ridiculous. Blackblade Reforged, nice little promo version that I've got here. Legendary artifact equipment costs 2 to lay it onto the field, and the equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. So again, it's going to be a huge buff. Not only when you bring it out for the first time, but also it's going to keep stacking up as time goes on. So again, a fantastic card. You can equip a legendary creature for 3. You can equip it to a legendary creature for 3 mana, or you can simply equip it to a normal creature for 7 mana. So again, it's a fantastic card in aid of your commander. Next card is Dark Steel Plate. This is a indestructible artifact. Again, it costs 3 to bring out. The equipped creature will have indestructible if it's wearing Dark Steel Plate, and it costs 2 to equip. So again, a nice cheap artifact that will give Thrun indestructible, which is fantastic. Basilisk Collar costs 1. It's a fantastic card. Gives equipped creature Death Touch and Lifelink. So again, gives you a lot of life back as and when you swing in, and it will kill any creature that then comes into contact with it. And it has a equip cost of 2, so you can get that on Thrun fairly early. Oh, Naginata. This is a great card. Costs 1. Costs 1 to bring out, and it can only be attached to a creature with power 3 or more. So Thrun is going to be able to use this easily. An equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has Trample straight away, an equip cost of 2. So again, a nice early drop card which will allow Thrun to get Trample and a big buff straight away as soon as possible, which is great. Trailblazer's Boots is pseudo unblockable. So equipped creature has non-basic land walk. So pretty much straight up unblockable in Commander, because a lot of people will have non-basic lands. And costs 2 to bring out, 2 to equip, basically means he's unblockable. Fantastic card, Trailblazer's Boots. Sword of Vengeance. So it's a 3-cost artifact, costs 3 to equip. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Fantastic card. I'm still waiting on Forebear's Blade and Haunted Cloak. They would probably appear in this deck at some point, replacing some of the aforementioned cards, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Forebear's Blade and Haunted Cloak will give Thrun Vigilance. I don't have many Vigilance enablers in this deck, so I think they need to come in. But just on a side note, I thought I'd mention those cards. They probably will appear in the list at some point, because Vigilance is a fantastic ability, especially if you want to be attacking every turn, because you need Thrun back to block. So again, Vigilance, another keyword that needs to be seen more in this deck, but it will be included at some point, just so you're aware. And the last equipment in the deck, or the last equipment that gives him general buffs and abilities, is Grappling Hook. So Grappling Hook means that the equipped creature will have double strike. It costs 4 to bring out and 4 to equip. And you can also, whenever the equipped creature attacks, you can have target creature block it if able. So, which is great for, it's like a single target removal on an equipment. So you can make something block Thrun that you want to get rid of, which is fantastic. So Grappling Hook will allow you to single target some creatures with Thrun. So that was the equipment package that we saw there. This gives Thrun a lot of buffs and a lot of abilities. Now we're moving on to the enchantments that will also buff and give Thrun other things. So first of all, we've got Rancor. Rancor is a fantastic enchantment aura. Costs 1 forest. Enchant creature, it gets +2/+0 and has trample straight away for 1 mana. Fantastic card. And when it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you return it to your hand. So again, you can always have something with +2/+0 and trample, which is great for Thrun because he needs trample. Then we have Prodigious Growth, or something like that, I can't pronounce it very well. Enchant creature gets +7/+7 and trample for 6 mana. So again, a fantastic buff card. And then again, another trample enabler, which is very, very important in the deck. Then we have Lure, which is great because it gives the enchanted creature, all creatures able to block it do so. So again, Thrun is going to be a huge threat most of the time. And if all of your opponent's creatures have to block, most of the time, they're all going to die, because Thrun is just too big to deal with. I have a nice little card here called Instill Energy, which costs 1 green, and basically it gives the creature haste that's enchanting it, and you can also untap it, so pseudo vigilance. I think the Oracle text says equipped creature or enchanted creature has haste, and then you can pay 0 mana to untap it, basically. So it's basically vigilance and haste on a very, very old school card, Instill Energy. Another massive enchantment, Mythic Proportions, costs 7 to play. Enchanted creature has +8/+8 and trample. So again, a massive enchantment which will buff up your creature. Speaking of huge enchantments, we have Eldrazi Conscription. Costs 8 to enchant the creature, but the enchanted creature gets +10/+10 and Annihilator 2. Annihilator 2 means whenever it attacks, the defending player sacrifices 2 permanents, which is just absolutely outrageous. If and when Thrun gets Eldrazi Conscription, the game is coming to an end. Then we have Aspect of Wolf, a card which I probably will take out at some point. So this is 1 green and 1 other, and it increases target creature's power and toughness by half the number of forests you control, rounding down for power and up for toughness. So if you had 9 forests out, you'd cut that number in half, which is 4.5. You'd round down for your power, so you get 4 power, and up for your toughness, so you get 5 for your toughness. So it's again quite a confusing card, but again can provide some good buffs late game, and it costs 2 to bring out. So again, nice little cheap enchant creature. Then we have Blanchwood Armor, which is fantastic in any mono green deck. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. So again, it's only going to stack and increase in power as you lay more and more forests. So again, a fantastic card. Then we have Gaia's Embrace, which is a enchant creature, gets +3/+3 and has trample, and also has regenerate type creature for 1 green. So the regenerate cost on this is actually better than Thrun, because Thrun on his card is 1 green and 1 other. This is simply green. This is mainly in the deck for just the +3/+3 and trample. Trample again is very, very important, but again, the regenerate could also be put on other creatures in the deck. There are other creatures in the deck, which we'll get to later, but Gaia's Embrace, nice little card there. Then we have a couple of Umbras. There are more Umbras in the deck, but these are the ones that give general buffs. So first of all, we've got Spider Umbra, which gives Thrun +1/+1 and reach. So again, gives him the ability to block flyers. And Totem Armor is great, because if you put something with Totem Armor on your creature, if that creature would be destroyed, you'd instead remove a Totem Armor. So if he's got multiple Totem Armors, he's going to be taking... He's going to be on the field for absolutely ages if you have more and more Totem Armors on him, which is great. So we've got Spider Umbra first. Then we have Boar Umbra. Again, another Totem Armor card, which gives the creature +3/+3. So a nice little buff and gives him Totem Armor, which is great. And then we have Bear Umbra, which gives him +2/+2 Totem Armor, and whenever the equipped creature attacks, untap all lands you control. So again, that is fantastic for just swinging in with a big creature, untapping all your lands in your second main phase, putting more stuff on that creature, basically ramping you in a sense as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So Boar Umbra. So a couple of nice Umbra packages in the enchantments there. So we've gone through the equipments and enchantments. Now we're going to go on to the draw cards package. So some of these cards will also have other abilities as well, but I class them as drawing cards. So yeah, we'll get to the draw cards or what I use these cards most often for. So let's start with Garrick, the Primal Hunter. Most of the time, I will use Garrick for his -3, which says draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So that is normally like 10, 11 cards off of this one card. Again, you can bring them out and you can just build an army of this beast ability to give him +1, or you could build it up for the green worm for each land you control if you wanted. But normally, most of the time, I use it for card draw. There's other cards I want to put in here, like the Return of the Wild Speaker, which came out with Eldraine, which gives you one of 2 effects. Gives you an overrun ability or a draw cards equal to the highest power of non-human creatures. So Return of the Wild Speaker will probably come in here at some point, but here's the first card in the draw cards package, because I mainly use this for the draw cards. That's Garrick, Primal Hunter. Next card in the draw card package is Snake Umbra. So again, this is a Totem Armor card, which gives the crit creature or the enchanted creature +1/+1. So it could be also in the buff section that we described earlier, but this says whenever the equipped creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. So again, Thrun's going to be getting through for damage most of the time, and again, when you get through for damage, you can draw a card on this. So I put it in the draw card package because it is part of that sort of, that's what's in the deck. It's in the deck to draw cards, but it also gives you the added benefit of +1/+1 and Totem Armor. So again, a great utility card. Next card is Infiltration Lens. So this costs 1 to play and 1 to equip, and whenever the equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. Most of the time, people are going to be wanting to block Thrun, because if they let Thrun through, that's a ton of commander damage coming their way, so they're going to want to block him, and whenever they block him, I will draw 2 cards. So Infiltration Lens, fantastic included in the deck. Harmonise, what more needs to be said? A great mono-green card draw card. 2 green and 2 others, sorcery, draw 3 cards. Fantastic. Rishkar's Expertise costs 2 green and 4 others, and it says draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, which is going to be 10 maximum with Thrun in this deck. And then you may cast a card with converted mana cost 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So the mana cost really pays for itself, because you get to play another card from your hand after drawing those cards off of Rishkar's Expertise. So again, it's a great card draw, but it also allows you to cash in for some of that mana that you spent, because it allows you to play another card afterwards. So a great card draw in green. Another card draw engine in green, Abundance. So this is an enchantment, so it stays out, and it costs 2 colourless and 2 forests. And if you would draw a card, you may instead choose land or non-land and reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. So it filters out what you want and what you don't want. So if you want to have land, you can choose land. If you don't want to have land, you can choose non-land. So again, it just fuels your deck, gives you more gas late game if you want non-lands, or if you need lands, you can choose lands. It's up to you. So Abundance is fantastic. So once you've chosen that card, once that card becomes revealed, put that card into your hand and put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of your library in any order. So again, a fantastic card for just filtering what you want your deck to do when it comes out. Soul's Majesty, just a straight up draw card equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So fantastic card. It needs to target something, but again, we don't have the issue of playing Soul's Majesty and then someone saying, right, I'm going to kill Thrun with this, because Thrun can't be targeted. So again, it's a fantastic include in this deck, although it might not be in others. Then we have Keen Sense. So Keen Sense costs 1 forest as an enchantment aura, enchant creature. Whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to your opponent, you may draw a card. So basically like Infiltration Lens, but you don't have to equip it. Again, Thrun's always going to be dealing damage to opponents, hopefully, and when he does, you get to draw cards off of this, which is great. Then we have a bit of a utility card. I have classed it as card draw, but it could be in utility packages as well. But this is Bonds of Morality. So this is an enchantment. It costs 1 green and 1 other to play. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So nice little card draw off of this. But you also get an ability on here as well, where you pay 1 green, and creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible at the end of turn. So again, this is a great way of dealing with other people's hexproof creatures or indestructible creatures, you can just make them mortals with Bonds of Morality and kill them with Thrun. So again, a fantastic card, but it's included within the ramp package because it's normally in there just to draw that extra card. It does have an added utility on there as well. So that's the ramp package, not the ramp package, that's the card draw package in the deck. Again, there's other cards I want to add at some point, like Return of the Wild Speaker and potentially others as well, but that's how it looks at the moment. Now we're going on to the ramp package. So ramp package is fairly small because Thrun and all of his equipment don't really cost that much to play. I mean, Thrun most of the time comes out on turn 3 or 4, depending on what sort of ramp I get going. But 3 or 4, turn 3 or 4 Thrun is most of the time what is common in this deck. So we'll go through the ramp package now. So first of all, we have a Basalt Monolith. So this costs 3 to play, and you can tap it to add 3 colourless mana to your mana pool. So if you play this on turn 3, on turn 4 you're going to have potentially 7 mana to play with. So you can use that to equip him with stuff or play massive equipments on turn 4 or 5. But this does not untap once you've used it. You have to pay 3 to basically untap it. So it's a short-term investment which you can then later, if you want to sink your mana tree and untapping it, you can do. But most of the time it's used to ramp you on turn 3 or 4 into a turn 7 play. So Basalt Monolith, fantastic card, very, very old printing, but again, I picked up a few of these because it's just a fantastic card for that early ramp, which you pretty much only need it for once. You only need to use it once most of the time. Next card is Beneath the Sands. This is a great card because it brings a basic land onto the battlefield tapped, but if you don't need it, you can cycle it to draw a card. So again, ramp in this deck isn't really needed that much, which is why I've got this sort of version of the ramp in there, because you can cycle it off if you don't need it. So again, a good card to use if you're on turn 3 and you need to ramp, you can use it. If you're on turn 8 and you need a card draw, you can use it then. So again, very, very good for utility. Next ramp is Nissa's Pilgrimage. So this costs 1 green and 2 other sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal those cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped and the rest into your hand. If you have Spell Mastery, you can search library for 3 forests instead of 2. So again, late game, you could get a lot of forests, rip all those forests out of your deck late game to make your deck more gassy towards the end if you've got Spell Mastery. So Nissa's Pilgrimage. Hunting Wilds, again, is a great card. It allows you to get 2 forests into play tapped for 4 mana. But again, you can kick it. If you draw it late game, you can kick it. And if the kicker cost was paid, untap all forests put into play this way. So you untap both of those forests that are put into play, and they become 3/3 green creatures with haste that are still land. So again, late game, you can use this to get more of a board state, get your lands out of your deck to make yourself more gassy towards the end, and just give you a couple of creatures if you need blockers. So again, Hunting Wilds is good for that. Standard procedure, we have Explosive Vegetation, which costs 4 mana. Search library for 2 basic lands and put them onto the battlefield tapped. We have Old School card, which I think should see more play in green decks, and that is Gaia's Touch. So this costs 2 green to play. It's an enchantment, and you may put 1 additional land into play during each of your turns, but that land must be a basic forest. So it allows you to play an additional land each turn, but it's only a forest that can be played as an additional land, which in mono green is absolutely fine. But what you can also do is you can sacrifice this enchantment if you want later on to add 2 green to your mana pool, which is great. So you can ramp yourself with playing more forests each turn, and if you need to cash this in at a later stage for the 2 green mana for something else, you can do that as well. So again, it's a good investment card. Gaia's Touch should be included in every mono green deck, I think. Then we have Ranger's Path, which is a 4-cost ramp spell. Search library for 2 forests, put 1 to battlefield tapped. So again, it's one of those cards that ramps solely forests, which is all that's needed in this deck. Nature's Law, search library for a forest, put it into play. So again, this costs basically 1, because you're searching your library for a forest and that forest is coming straight into play untapped. So you can use that forest if needed, which is great. And then we have another Planeswalker, which I most of the time use for his ramp ability, and that's Garrick the Wild Speaker. So this costs 4, 2 forests and 2 others, and you +1 to untap 2 lands. So again, I pretty much use that most of the time for his ramp, which is why he's in the ramp package part of this video. And but you can also use him later as well for creating beasts. So if you need blockers, you can create beasts with him, and you can also give your team a overrun effect as well. +3/+3, and gain trampling to end of turn. So again, that's good if you've got a lot of creatures out. Most of the time you won't have creatures out because it's obviously Voltron strategy, one creature only most of the time. But again, the Anthem effect can be used, can be utilised, but most of the time it is used for ramp, which is why it's in the ramp section of this video. So next couple of cards are what I call combat deterrents. So with a Voltron strategy, you're always going to have one creature out on the field most of the time, and you need to have abilities that will stop people from attacking you, and that's what this couple of cards are about. So first of all, we've got Fog. So Fog is just a 1 green mana card which says prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. So this can be used to save your life. For 1 green mana, you can always keep 1 green mana up if you're afraid of what's coming next, and you can prevent all combat damage. So again, you're buying yourself more time. So let's just say you've left yourself open, Thrun's attacked, you sat there as a sitting duck, couple of mana spare, and then they're like, right, he is open, let's swing into him now while Thrun is tapped. They're going to swing all your creatures in, all their creatures in, and you just say, Fog, prevent all combat damage. Fantastic way to deter combat, which is why it's in there. Then we have a similar effect in Hazel Pollen. So Hazel Pollen is exactly the same sort of thing, costs 2 mana to play, but if you don't need it later on in the game, or you want to cycle it off early on, you can cycle it off to draw a card for 3 mana, which is also a good utility. So if you don't need it early on in the game, then again, it's fantastic to just cycle it off if you don't need it. And then we've got 2 other things in the combat deterrent, and that's Silent Arbiter. This is a 1/5 artifact creature that costs 4 to bring out, and it says no more than 1 creature may attack each combat, and no more than 1 creature may block each combat. So it limits combat to 1 creature only attacking or blocking at any one time, which is great for Voltron strategies because they've only ever got 1 creature out. So Silent Arbiter just will dictate what is attacking, what is blocking. So again, a fantastic card. Normally has to be dealt with quite quickly because it dictates what's going on in the battle. And then we have Crawl Space. So Crawl Space is a 3-cost artifact, and it says no more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. So again, it allows a bit of combat deterrent. So a huge board state can't swing in at you. It only says 2 or no more than 2 creatures. So again, you're only going to have to deal with 2 creatures coming at you, which is a lot better than 5 or 6, especially in a Voltron strategy. And finally, we have the utility package. So these are cards that don't really fit into any sort of package or any sort of category, but they're in there for their individual abilities. And obviously, these are the cards that could be removed for other things going forward. So first of all, we've got Cauldron of Souls. So Cauldron of Souls is an artifact that costs 5 to bring out, but you can tap it to choose any number of target creatures, and all those creatures gain persist until end of turn. So if they were to die, they would come back into play with a -1/-1 counter on them. So if board wipes are one of the only things that get Thrun. So if Thrun was to be killed by a Wrath of God, for instance, or a Damnation, I'm not sure if Wrath of God says destroy a creature they can't be regenerated, but any board wipes that say destroy all, or something, or destroy all, Thrun can't really do much about that because that's a global effect that you can do nothing about. So this is good for giving Thrun persist, so he lives through that particular board wipe, because he'll come back with -1/-1 counter, but he'll still be alive. So again, Cauldron of Souls is a good card. I haven't used it in any playthroughs yet, but again, a nice little utility card which I think could be useful if it is used. Utility card should be in the buff section really. Primal Bellow. It's an instant for 1 forest. It gives target creature +1/+1 until end of turn for each forest I control. So again, it could be used as a finisher. It could be used as a combat trick. It could be used as a scare tactic. It could be used on my opponent's creatures for each forest I control. Again, it's quite a good card, and that's why it's in utility. It's not in buff because it can be used on other creatures, can be used at instant speed, and it's a fantastic card for surprising people as well. So Primal Bellow in the utility package. Then we have a little creature, Ulvenwald Tracker. Costs 1 forest to bring out. It's a 1/1, but then it has the ability of pay 1 forest and 1 other. Target creature you control fights another target creature. So again, it's pretty much spot removal, because Thrun is going to have such a high power and toughness that, you know, Ulvenwald Tracker can make Thrun fight something and pretty much destroy it straight away. So that's why it's in there. Nice utility card, but single target removal. Another card that's in here, which I just bought for the sake of it, just to punish those players that run extremely valuable lands, and that's Primal Order. So this is an enchantment. It costs 2 green and 2 others, and during each player's upkeep, Primal Order will deal 1 damage to that player for each non-basic land he or she controls. So again, all those players that are playing their fetch lands and their shot lands and their dual lands and all that sort of stuff, you're going to get damaged every time, every turn for each land you control of that sort of type. So that's what you get for having to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on these huge mana bases. Next card is Teamer Sabletooth. Another card that's a utility card because in a sense it's a 4/3 creature cat, costs 4, but it says 1 green and 1 other. You may return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Teamer Sabletooth gains indestructible until end of turn. So it's a good card for targeting Thrun with. If there's a big board wipe coming up or something, you can return Thrun to your hand, give the Sabletooth indestructible. So it's nice little utility card and a bit of extra protection for Thrun if a big board wipe's coming. You can in response use this ability to bounce Thrun back to your hand, which is great for protecting him. Nice little spider, Deadly Recluse, 1/2, reach, death touch, just a little bit of defense, and it's just in there because I like Deadly Recluse. It's, I'm always chuffed to see it in my starting hand because it's just immediate defense, immediate threat, and if you want, you can stack equipments onto it if you want it as well. So again, Deadly Recluse, nice little card. Then we have Siege Behemoth, a huge beast with hexproof himself. He's a 7/4, and as long as he's attacking, for each creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. So if Siege Behemoth is attacking and Thrun is attacking, Thrun is going to be getting its damage through if I choose to. So if I want 27 damage coming at your face, it's going to come at your face with Siege Behemoth attacking as well. A fantastic card for pseudo unblockable, and it's hexproof as well, and it's a big beast, so it's a win-win situation. And finally, in the utility package, we have Soul of New Thyrexia. So this is an artifact creature avatar, 6/6 for 6 mana, trample as well, and it has 2 activated abilities. It has pay 5, permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So again, it gives all your permanents indestructible if you pay 5. And then you can exile it from your graveyard and pay 5 as well, and permanents you control gain indestructible as well. So again, it has potentially 2 uses, if not more. But again, just another utility card which gives all of my permanents indestructible instead of turn if I have the mana to do so. So again, another card that could potentially come out, but just a nice couple of utility cards in there that I haven't really used in other decks, so I just thought, yeah, we'll try it in here. Yeah, so that's the Thrun deck. I've already told you the mana base as well, again, I love mono tech. I love mono decks. I'm a sucker for mono decks because they're just so easy to run. You don't have to worry about all these lands and all this mana. You're just playing one colour, stacking all of your awesome stuff on one creature, swinging in, dealing damage, and just having a ridiculously powerful creature that people are scared of is always a fantastic strategy to utilise. Voltron is not known to be a competitive strategy, but it's a fun one nonetheless, and I think Thrun is one of the forerunners for the Voltron strategy. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked any of the cards on here displayed, then make sure you go and check them out on magicmadhouse.co.uk if you're a UK resident, and use our affiliate link if you're looking to add or buy any cards for any of your decks or any other geeky content. Go and check out our affiliate link, and make sure you please like and subscribe to the channel if you found us through EDH Rec or just found us from a recommended video. That would be awesome if you like and subscribe. We've been doing this for about a year now, and we're learning. We're still learning. We're still looking at what stuff performs well and what you guys want to see. So make sure you drop a comment in the section below and let us know what you want to see. Please leave your suggestions on what I should include in this Thrun deck as well if I've missed anything that you think would be awesome in here. So thank you very much for tuning in yet again. Hit the like and subscribe button and the bell if you want to be notified. But we'll see you on a future episode. See ya.